Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. I am JayLee. This is JLeesCorner. This is my review for Fix My Life, Iyanla. Okay, season 7, episode 5, honey, with LisaRaye, her mama, and her daughter. Okay, all three of them was there, 3 generations. Our mama name is Katie, of course, LisaRaye, and then her daughter Kai. Kai also has a little baby girl and what. Okay, I started off already. Okay, let's be a little bit nicer than that. If you have not done so already, please take a moment to subscribe to my channel to become a whole JayBird, dun, and all that good stuff or whatever. Do not forget to also inhale and exhale, okay, to relax, to relate, to release, to yourself and everyone around you. You can also follow me on IG and Twitter at J_Lees_Corner. And like the video, comment in the comment section, and also hit that share button to share it on your social media. Okay, now let's get back into the foolishness of it all. Okay, so again, LisaRaye, her mama Katie, her daughter Kai, came on the show. Now we find out that they all live in the same house. Now the grandma brings up how she has her own house in Chicago, but she came to town for Kai's daughter's birthday. The grandma was then sick. Then COVID happened, so she kind of got stuck in LisaRaye's house because again, so much had happened and she just hasn't went home yet or whatnot. But I mean, them living together just makes the tension, rise even higher or whatever. So we see, she talks to them all together. And Mama Katie say how she feel like Lisa went to Hollywood and got Hollywood on her, whatever. Like I'm saying, I feel like once she got to a certain place in her career, she makes me feel like she don't need me because she has everybody else or whatever. That's how she makes me feel. And I'm like, well, okay. Now, as she's saying that, LisaRaye and the daughter are kind of like, oh my God, here go grandma, whatever, okay? But she brings up how, I'm old now. I'm old, and she's my only daughter, and I do wonder about, like, who will look after me. Then she talks to LisaRaye, who says that she feels as if she does everything right now. You know what I'm saying? Because I come home or whatever, and I come to the house, and I gotta still do dishes after coming in from a premiere or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because they currently live in my house, I feel as if, they need to follow my rules. I'm the ruler and the queen of it all, like it's my castle, and do what I say and whatnot. And mama feel like, well, I'm your mama. You know what I'm saying? So I should have some say what goes on in this house. I'm like, well, no, because it's Lisa's house. But there's still a level of respect. And you allow your mom to feel comfortable. I would never want my mom to feel as if she's a guest in my house. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, she brings up as far as her daughter Kai, that Kai is spoiled. Well, she's spoiled and lazy. And she brings up how Kai always says to her, well, I'm not you. You can't expect me to do things the way that you want me to do things because that's how you did them. You can say, don't wear shoes in my house. You can say, wash the dishes you use. But you can't say, this is how I work. This is how you need to work. That's not good or whatnot. Kai brings up how she understands that she has growing up to do. She's not fully grown yet. But I'm like, she's 30. Kai isn't young. Kai is at least 30 years old with her own kid. 30 isn't when you start figuring stuff out. Is when you realize, listen, I want this or that or whatever, and let me see what I have to do to get there. But I feel like Kai was saying, I'm like 20. I'm just not starting out in life. I'm like, not at 30. Not. Life will ruin you if you have no idea what your path is and what you're working towards. It doesn't mean you have to have it at 30, but you should have an idea at 30 at what you're trying to do and whatever. So as they talking or whatever, Mama Katie brings up how she's still angry. Okay, she is still angry because of LisaRaye daddy. Okay, LisaRaye daddy, as we know, LisaRaye loves her daddy. She's always talked about her daddy whole life or whatever. And then Iyanla, well, you can't tell Lisa about her daddy because again, the relationship between you and her father and her father are 2 different things. Like that shows that man as your husband. That just happened to be her father, whatever. And so Mama then say, we gotta talk about that. And I'm like, Iyanla may not know things that happen or whatever. So she had them all like pick cards to, speak about this or about that or whatever, pick these cards to point out what you feel as if there are issues that you may have to deal with or whatever, or it may be cracks that you see within each other. And so when she comes back, when she walked in, LisaRaye looked like she looked up, noticing that Iyanla had changed clothes. And, it's like, I change clothes because I need y'all to know what y'all here for. And I don't want anyone being tempted to play the TV or play the camera. I have to get that y'all here as troubled women. I'm saying? I am no longer the host of the show. I need to be the priestesses or the wise woman that came here to help y'all. And I like that shit because, like, there is a comfortability that you have to feel within how you sit and chill or whatever to have conversations. Sometimes if you sitting with somebody in a business suit, you may not be able to come down to the level of what they need. You have to sometimes meet them where they are. So I feel like she had to feel more relaxed in what she was wearing to get in deep with what they got going on or whatever. And so they then talk about the cards that they all had. Kai says how she feels that she's very nonchalant about things. How she doesn't mean to be so nonchalant about whatever's going on, but it's just how she's wired or whatever. She wants to work on that. And when Iyanla asked her, well, how much of that is close to really you being numb to things? Because, nonchalant meaning, oh, it doesn't really matter, but is it that it doesn't really matter, or that you're numb to it and so you can't even feel how you feel? And it's like, actually, it's the same. Meaning she's really numbing to shit than more being nonchalant about things and whatnot. Okay, now Lisa put up how she has a soft heart, okay, and she's always placing herself in other people's shoes, saying how she has tons of compassion for people. I say, well, what was your compassion for your sister? Gonna leave that be. I called a crock of bullshit because just seeing how Lisa reacts and talks and have conversations, none of that is compassion. It is an ability to feel like I'm going to be real with people no matter how they may feel about it. Like, those two things don't even match up. You know what I'm saying? It just does not. And as she's talking and saying that she's just loving, compassionate, always putting herself in someone else's shoes before reacting, speaking, and being, her mom was looking like, her mama is shaking her head like she lying. And I don't see and even I felt like Lisa put 20 on 10, but I'm going to leave that be or whatever. Now, Mama Katie then brings up all the cracks that she sees in Lisa and Kai is their anger. I'm like, Mama, you don't see your anger either, but I'm going to leave that be or whatever. But she said, I feel as if I get anger from them. That's how they treat me. And for that reason, Iyanla then said, well, how do you know the difference between, anger and sadness? And I was like, what does she? And she then said, well, if it was sad, that'd be like me sitting in the room all day, looking at the wall, not wanting to talk, whatever. That's how I act when I'm sad, And I do that because I don't feel like going out the room and fussing with them because they may be mad about something I say or whatever. And then she then brings it, and I'm like, first of all, that's not true. And Iyanla, I think, said to her, like, that may be how you react, or that's how you act with your sadness, but that may not be how someone else does it or whatnot. But she also brings up how she feels as if Lisa's ungrateful, how she feels like things were just supposed to be done or given to her, and she doesn't really appreciate, things that people did for her, mainly whatever the mama did for Lisa back in the day or whatever. And then as they talking or whatever, she's like, some of us is here lying. You know what I'm saying? I came here to be honest. I speak when the word moves me, and if we don't be honest here, ain't nothing gonna change. We're gonna go home, gonna be the same bullshit. I came to tell the truth. And I'm like, she is upset. Okay, she is angry. So anyway, I got like, you know what? Let me have a separate conversation with Mama Kate, okay? And so she asked her, Do you realize, not only the anger you feel as if, LisaRaye and Kai has, but do you want to talk about your anger, like your own anger? What is your story? Okay, well, I was, one of 13 kids. I was the seventh kid, in Mississippi, and I picked cotton, and I ended up leaving because I was tired of picking cotton, and the money I made my mama took to pay for family things or whatever, and I was always kind of like being held responsible for all the kids and whatnot back. And I'm like, the fact that she remembers picking cotton, she should never have to do nothing ever again. I feel like anyone who is alive now that used to have to pick cotton, like, they're allowed to be angry. They're allowed to be. They lived in a completely different time than we did. If my mama had picked cotton, she could be mean to me at any given time because she was a slave picking cotton, or at least a newly free person picking cotton. Girl, that's a lot. Anyway, she brings up how, she did not have an education. And so when she left home and came like to the big city, she was very gullible. Like, she was just, I didn't know nothing or whatever. I didn't know my head from my ass. And that's what it was. I then met a man, and I married this man who happened to be the LisaRaye daddy. He beat me on a regular basis. He beat me like I was a kid. He would beat me with belts and hangers or whatever, like I, suffered abuse. But she admits, but I stayed with him, and I took the abuse because I wanted Lisa to be more and have more. Meaning I stayed with him because he had money. And I wanted my child to have whatever she wanted to have. So I stayed because he took care of me and he took care of my kid, even though he wasn't shit, okay? And she's like, and to this day, Lisa still worships him. We have heard Lisa praise her father on any and every interview she's ever done that asks her about her past or about her parents or whatever. I rarely hear her speak of her mom as much as I hear her speak on her father or whatever. But she brings up how the fact that Lisa worshipped him, okay, and then when her father was killed, the father was killed by his girlfriend. The girlfriend shot him or whatever. And she brought up that I worked very hard to be sure that even after he died, that we had to go. Like, I had to take over the family business. I don't know what the family business was, but I mean, I don't know. But she brings up like Lisa had no compassion for me. I never felt any compassion from Lisa at any point in time before her daddy died or after. And even after he died, she never asked me how it felt for me to lose him. And Iyanla said, well, it wasn't her job to do that because she was busy mourning the loss of her father, and she didn't have time to help you mourn the loss of your husband. I feel like saying that was indication or even proof at how badly their bond as mother and daughter is, even back then. Because when my dad died, even though I was mourning my father, I still worried and had compassion for my mama because she lost her husband. So I feel like any child who at some point doesn't care about how their parent dealt with shit, it's a breakdown between the two of them, okay? It's not just Mama Katie, it's also Lisa too. She also brings up how, he had multiple women. He always had many women or whatever, and Lisa knew he was a hoe in these streets or whatever. And at one point in time, she stayed with the daddy and one of the girlfriends or whatever, and that was kind of crazy. And then, but I was like, yeah, but you stayed with him through all of that, and it seems as if you stayed with him and you're blaming Lisa for staying through what you chose to stay through it. I'm like, he was beating you before Lisa was born, and you stayed. Like, you then had a kid with him and then stayed. Lisa daddy wasn't shit. Like, he beat his wife, he cheated on his wife, and then he used money to make his daughter love him unconditionally because, that's how he used love, in the form of dollars or whatever. But Iyanla brought up, like, you need to be able to take accountability for what decisions you made. You can't blame Lisa for that. You got to stop being, and that you have an entitlement, you're selfish, and you're bitter of the choice that you made. And the whole time, y'all are like, this is what's going on. I don't believe that. I don't agree with you, whatever. She's just like, this no, 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 no. And everything Iyanla is telling her. And I'm like, then what you here for? What you here for, okay? And so though she then has a conversation with Kai, okay, the daughter of it all. And Kai sitting there, so pretty, okay, but you can tell it's a lot she don't say. I feel like she doesn't want to ruin her mom's image in the media. And I feel like there's a lot of anger she has at her mama that she won't even release. And if she don't release it, she gonna be unhappy or whatever. And so she brings up how her thing is, the issues that she can see between her mama and her grandmama, that she does not want to have those same issues when she gets older and she's with, between her and her mom or whatever. I say, you better hope it don't happen between you and your daughter, because again, it could. And then she asks her, like, do you realize that you give off this cold, harsh energy, and it's because you're not letting yourself kind of be truthful about whatever's hurting you. You know what I'm saying? I wonder where this harsh and cold energy comes from. I said, come from her mama and her grandmama. Lisa and their mama is the exact same way. But at this point, I don't think she had been with all of them for a long time or whatever. And then Kai explains about when she was like 13 years old, her mama sent her to a disciplinary school in Iowa because at that point in time, Lisa had started working a little bit more on whatever TV stuff, and so her mom was gone for a longer period of time. And when she would come back, she like, I just was, I had an attitude, and I was like, skipping school a little bit, whatever. I just wasn't a good teenager or whatever. So my mama just sent me away. Your mama wasn't shit. I don't like it when parents don't take time to parent, because I feel like, Lisa, if you were gone a lot and you came home and your daughter was being unruly, take the time to parent her. Sending her away doesn't teach her that you're trying to show that you love and care for her. So I think that's like a weird thing or whatever. Anyway, Iyanla asked, like, what do you think that your attitude came from? That your attitude came from you just missing your mom because she was so busy working. And Kai said, no, not at all. I didn't miss her. I just had an attitude problem. And I'm like, I think it wasn't that she missed her mom. She was angry at her mom, but she does not want to say that about who? Her mom or whatever. And when she asked Kai about like what she wants to do in life, Kai just kind of says, oh, well, I don't know, I'm figuring it out or whatever, but I'm not willing to like make mistakes. I'm not willing to fall flat on my face to figure things out in life. And she's like, you know what, if you are not willing to do that, life is going to eat you alive, because you have to fall and make mistakes in order to grow. And I'm like, girl, Lisa, what did you do? What did you do? Okay, and she then talks to Lisa. Okay, and when she talks to Lisa, Iyanla brings up how, Lisa likes to control situations, but not really nurture or encourage situations. It's a difference or whatever. And she asked her, like, do you know that your daughter is broken? Like, how did she get that way? She's like, well, I have no idea. I didn't know that. She says that I see depression and a lack of maturity in her, but I don't know, why she'd be broken. I don't know that. But even within the immaturity of her, I gave her a path, because even at her age, I wasn't mature either. I'm like, but she's 30 with a kid. I don't know. She brings up how, I remember when I was younger or whatever, and like when I wanted something, my dad would just give it to me. If I was in school and the school had chicken and I wanted pizza, I called my dad and he would bring me pizza. And so she admits, I was very, very spoiled rotten, if you want to be true. And I was a daddy's girl or whatever, and I was supposed to run the family business or whatever. So I never even had to figure life out, because life had been planned by my father, okay? But once he got killed, that was where the downfall happened within my life, because he died and my mama never had control of anything, but now that he was dead, she had control over something, and I feel like she made me pay for being a daddy's girl or whatever. And then at that point in time, I was not ready for life. I think I got pregnant with Kai, and everything changed. And so when she asked her about, well, what happened when you sent Kai to the disciplinary school? It's like, oh, well, yeah, Kai was acting up or whatever, and, she needed some discipline, so I sent her away. And I was like, boy, why didn't you just... I'm going to leave that be. She brings up how I refuse to come home to the house I pay for and not be happy based on what my kids are doing and her being, rude and disrespectful. I'm looking like, but she was a kid. Like, kids sometimes won't be happy, and it's hard being a parent. So what's weird is it's just I never hear her say how she tried to correct or discipline Kai. It was things where I came home, she wasn't happy, it was making me unhappy, so let me send her somewhere so she can get fixed and I can be at home comfortable, and I don't have to worry about her doing things I don't feel like dealing with, is what I took it as or whatever. But she's like, that you are very controlling. It's like, no, I don't. She's like, no, you are controlling. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is or whatever, and you don't even get, you should not be telling Kai, who's now 30 with a kid and out here fucking men or whatever, what she needs to do and how that she needs to live her life. Like, who she deal with, like, that's her bitch. She's a grown woman. Lisa's point was, as long as she's living under my roof, and I feel as if her having a kid does not make her grown, it's my rules. I'm gonna have a say so in what she do. I'm saying, having a kid don't make you grown or whatever, and she can't be out here not moving or moving and not making any action. And I'm looking like, I just feel like LisaRaye's thought pattern is kind of on point, but not on point. Like, you didn't prepare your child for the world. You spoiled your child the same way your daddy spoiled you. In the same way that you say once your daddy died, you weren't ready for life. You then got pregnant with Kai. You had to grow up. Kai wasn't ready for life. She now has a kid and she still has not grown up. It's the cycle repeating itself. And it's crazy. I'm like, girl, bye. And, when Iyanla said, like, you haven't even realized that you stripped your daughter of her own sense of self. And because you did that, she's scared to even admit it, for one. And for two, she's scared to make mistakes in life because you stripped her of a sense of who she is or even who she could be. And I'm like, that's the thing. Lisa don't even realize what she did. I'm like, but I guess it is what it is. She then asked her about being in a competition with her mom over the father. And it's weird because Lisa then said, well, it's not like a competition. Looks like, well, what else is it? Well, I don't. And he been dead for years, okay? And Lisa's like, well, it's a huge difference between my mom and my father. You know what I'm saying? My father could see everything in me that I wanted to do or be or even try to do. But in my mom, like looking at my mom now, I just seeing her everything I do not want to be. Iyanla said, you do know you should see in her that you are already everything that she is. Like, you are your mom. Well, I don't see that. I don't see that. And I'm like, and that's the reason why you have issues with your daughter. And she still don't get that that's true, okay? And she was like, y'all are all the same. Like, y'all are all the same. I talked to each of y'all. I've told y'all things, and y'all all say no, no, no. It's as if I'm here with really one person. Like, y'all are really the same person. And she's like, I did not realize that until just now. And I'm like, yes, they all are the same. An attitude, upset about shit, don't want to take accountability for what they have done in their life or not done in life. And they're all being moved about who has the money to move them. It's dumb. It's really dumb. And so she decides to have all of them together to talk or whatever, because again, y'all are all the same and I don't have time for the bullshit. And so she asked them, have any of y'all kind of realized anything new since yesterday? Mama Katie brings up, I can admit that a lot of these things I do think is my fault because I don't really know who I am. And these women started with me. So I can admit that part came from me. Lisa said, I can admit that as a child, I knew how much my dad loved me. And I used that to my advantage. And then Iyanla kind of busted her bubble. So you do get that your father had a manipulation and the dishonesty of his love to you. You have to know that to get out of the fog of your daddy's story. Lisa has this mindset of her father as this great man who worked and made all this money, and her mama was the opposite. And I'm like, that's not true. The fact that Lisa, on one of her other things, had brought up how her daddy would not give her mama grocery money. And so she then had to go in there to ask her daddy for grocery money. Her daddy gave her the money, but would not give the mama the money. And I'm like, that's what y'all point was in saying you and your mama has been in the competition with your daddy. Girl, y'all really have or whatever. She tells them that y'all all seem to know how to fight, but none of y'all seem to know how to own your own shit, okay, at all. She's like, I'm gonna give y'all these cards. The cards say either yes or no, and you can't give me your story. I need either yes or no. She asked Kai, did it hurt you when your mom sent you away? Kai said yes. She said, did you ever talk to your mom about being hurt? Kai said no. She then asked Mama Katie, did you take your daughter with you when you went to your husband's girlfriend's houses? She said, yes, I did do that. She said, but did you know by doing that was a form of emotional manipulation? And she then said, no, meaning you're taking your daughter to the women's houses who her father is cheating on her with. It's a way for you to either make her be pissed at her father or be pissed at you. One or the other, or whatever. Now she then asked LisaRaye, did you tell your mother that if she never put your father out, he would still be alive? And if you said that, did you believe it? She said, well, I did tell her that, but I don't believe that is true. But I did say that to her. And she then asked her, well, did you also say to your mom that you wish it was her that died instead of your father? And Lisa said that yes. I'm like, who said, like, why not say I wish neither one of y'all was dead, but I just don't like you? Girl, to tell your mother that you wish that she died instead of your father is crazy. Okay, is entirely crazy. Now Mama Katie then brings up how Lisa knew her father was cheating the whole time or whatever. At one point, she was living with him, and one of said mistress or whatever, and she don't like it. And Lisa's like, well, what do you want me to do? You want me to buy you? You ain't got no money to buy me. I said, girl, the veins that was popping out their necks when she said, Mama, can I buy you? And she said, no, you don't have enough money to buy me. I'm like, they are toxic. Who fussed with their mama like that? It was messiness between them. And when Iyanla brings up how, you can't talk to Lisa about her daddy as if he is your man, it's too different. You can't blame LisaRaye for whatever her daddy did. That's her daddy. You can't do that or whatever. But she also tells Lisa that your daddy was inappropriate because him having you around his mentors or whatever, that was very not a good thing. Because again, it made her still pick her daddy's side and kind of like say fuck her mama, but not really. But then, as they up there talking or whatever, she's like, I need you to get that your most difficult bond or your most difficult relationship is really with you and yourself, not even with you and Lisa, because then you don't know who you are. And I'm like, they sitting up here saying the same thing over and over and over. But the issue is that Lisa, in many ways, was the other woman to her father. And when she said that, Lisa starts crying because she realized, damn, I was the other woman. Because again, the daddy made both of them compete for his attention. And it made them compete for the rest of their lives. Because that's what they were used to. And she brings up how, y'all all did it for the money. Lisa mama stayed for the money. Lisa then, used the love of her father to get more money. And now in their life, Lisa uses money to control her daughter. And the daughter kind of lets it all happen. So the cycle has repeated itself, okay? And at the end of the day, the daddy dead. Okay, the daddy dead and gone. And his daughter and his wife is still beefing over him. Over his dead ass girl. It was just, it's like he played both of y'all with money. And y'all need to accept that. You know what I'm saying? Y'all call it love, but it's really manipulation. Y'all are still being manipulated about money to this day. To this day. Or whatever. And then she kind of talks to them. And she's like, y'all not even ready for change. You know what I'm saying? Y'all gonna go back home, get back to y'all old routine. It's gonna get really, really bad. And when that happens, then y'all will be ready to fix shit or whatever. It's like, I'll get y'all some tools until that happens or whatever. But y'all need to focus on changing eventually or whatever. And then Lisa, can you do like a follow-up in 6 months? And she said, we'll see. Okay, we then see a little thing of, the queen mother, the queen and the princess, meaning Mama Katie, Lisa, and Kai, continue to struggle communicating. They still are having issues with that even today. And then Kai says she's committed to moving out within a year. I'm like, girl, a year? Okay. And then she'd also say that Iyanla has agreed to continue to work with LisaRaye in the near future. So I think that at the end of the day, Lisa has put her father on a pedestal based on the money he provided for her and the love he gave her, even if that love was very much so a manipulation of his wife. And the daddy made the wife, Mama Katie, feel as if she wasn't good enough to make decisions or be the number one in his life because he had his daughter above her and the mistresses. But she stayed. And then Kai is just sitting around waiting for mom to pay her bills. And that's it. And she don't know what she wants to do in life. And that's it. And it is a whole ass mess. This could have been more episodes if Lisa and them was really ready to be fixed or be helped. They wasn't ready because as Iyanla said, like everything I offered y'all to help y'all get to a new step, y'all kept saying no. So y'all ain't ready. Y'all ain't ready. So we'll see if they're ready in 6 more months, girl. I'm done. Gotta go. Peace.